Hi there, thank you so much for listening today. I guess I got to turn up my volume here a little bit. This is what the Lord is showing me right now today, that we have to practice His presence. We have to worship much more than we have been. That really means to give honor to Him and to be obedient to Him, as well as what we might call worship with praise and singing and the music that normally brings us into His presence. We need to abide in His presence every hour of the day. And a lot of times, and I'm guilty myself, we spend a lot of our time and energy with beholding the things of the world, beholding the things in our relationships, especially our problems, our trials and troubles. We tend to focus on those and try to figure them out. And we need to be casting our cares upon Him. We need to behold Him and what the Word says about Him and who He is as the Word of the living God. Jesus not only has the answers, but He is the answer. He is the door. He is the Good Shepherd. He is those things. And we also have the promise of Yahweh our Father. He is the great I Am. I Am is not just a noun, but it's more of a verb. I am something. I am your healer. I am your deliverer. I am your baptizer in the Holy Spirit. I am all the things that you need. And we need to remember that as we think about survival, as we think about overcoming in the days ahead, that none of us can do anything without the ability, the power, the strength, the wisdom that only God can bestow. And He doesn't just give it to us, He actually manifests those things inside of us because we have the Spirit Man already abiding in us. So we need to allow the Spirit Man to go from the center to the circumference, from the heart into the mind and the will and the emotions. And then eventually it's going to manifest a glorified body in our physical self. A lot of people have not been taught that we are supposed to be changing from glory to glory while beholding Him. Our focus, our diligent effort, and our discipline of our mind, what we think upon, those things which are good and true and virtuous and of a good report. Those things are what we're supposed to be beholding. And of course, those things are what God is doing. Those things are the things that are going to manifest peace and love and truth and the fruit of the Spirit in our selves, in the area around us. These are the fruit of the Spirit. We can count on those things to be fulfilled, to be brought forth, to be a harvest in our lives. And once we understand what the destiny is and how God has to help us till up the garden, get rid of the weeds, the thorns, all those different things, then we will really be able to open up ourselves and allow Him to bring healing, to bring overcoming power, to bring deliverance. We have to get ourselves out of the way. That's the crucifixion and the resurrection, that the Word becomes flesh inside of us. So I really jumped around right there just to kind of give an exhortation of encouragement to the people that are going through things, that just like Jesus said, for the joy set before us, we must endure the cross. We must endure those things that come upon us as trials. It says most of what I'm talking about is in the parable of the sower, Matthew 13 and Mark 4. And there are many things in our hearts and our lives that keep the Word from bearing fruit 30, 60, or 100-fold. One of the things would be trials, tribulations, problems, financial problems, educational problems, relational problems. All these different things that we go through are going to help us to mature. They're going to actually help us to overcome. The good things in our lives a lot of times can interfere too. If we have a lot of wealth, if we have a lot of things of the world that we chase after, going shopping and entertainments, things like vacations and whatever, those things we can have in balance. But if that's our whole focus, is just to have entertainment, to watch videos or to play games or to do things, just light things that are superficial rather than supernatural things. The things that we feed into our heart and our spirit is what is going to lead our lives. And if we're not focusing on the things of the spirit that are deep, that are much more supernatural, much more of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, then we're going to miss the whole point. We are here for a reason. We all have gifts, we all have callings, we all have a journey, we all have, actually, the Lord said to count the cost. There's a building being built, there's a holy habitation unto the Lord that's a building by many purified people, living stones coming together. And if we don't allow ourselves to become sanctified or purified, perfected in the Lord, then we really can't be a part of that holy building. I threw a whole bunch of stuff at you again there, so I just need to have you understand that we are supposed to become changed, transformed into His image. And then as soon as we lay ourselves upon the altar, eventually, if we stay as that living sacrifice in Romans 12:1 and 2, then I believe the Holy Spirit will come and consume the sacrifice, just like the sacrifices of old when they put it upon the altar. I think Elijah is probably the best example. He put water on the altar right in front of the prophets of Baal, and kept putting water on the altar and just called upon God to consume the offering by His fire. Now, of course, we know that fire is put out by water, but the Holy Spirit can do anything. He just came and consumed the whole offering, and when Elijah called down fire from heaven. And so these things have to come to pass in our lives if we understand the symbolism as the types and shadows from the Old Testament, then it'll make sense in our lives when we go through things. But back to the parable of the sower, it says right there that Satan comes to steal the word. Now, we've had a lot of Bible studies, we've had a lot of teaching, we've had internet programs and things on DVD for years. We've got praise music, we've got just about anything you can think of on any topic of the Bible. We've had this for several years, ever since the mass media was begun, even in the radio era. Back in the 20s and 30s, many people listened to Bible teaching and preaching. But we know, as I said, that the tribulations come because of the word that we've been given, that we have a trial of our faith to believe if what we've been taught, what the word has been sown in our heart, whether that's going to remain in our heart or whether the enemy can tear it out. And so that's really a lot of the reason that we're going to go through some of these trials and tribulations, is to test whether we believe God, or if we believe the enemy, or believe the world, or our flesh. And so that's really kind of the underlying principle that I'm trying to teach you right now. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. You need to just go back and read Matthew 13 and Mark chapter 4 and see those things that hinder the word, and the principle that I'm sharing about the word being tried to be snatched from our heart by the evil one. And we need to hold on to the word no matter what. That's basically all I have for today. Thank you.